Let's get right to it and discuss the All-Star festivities out in Seattle. First off, let me give you a big picture look at this. Listen, the All-Star game, you're not going to get Rose Fosse, okay? I mean, you're not going to get 1972. You're not going to get 1967 Tom Seaver pitching 5 innings. I mean, the All-Star game, it's changed. It's a little different than it used to be. Guys like me remember way back when it meant an awful lot. It's not the same. So we're going to have to live with that. And if you're an old-fashioned guy like me with the camaraderie, it drives you crazy. You like the leagues when they were fighting each other and they wanted to win the worst way, that too. But as far as what they could give you now, as far as the game is concerned, they gave you a very good game on Tuesday. There was some life, even the microphone discussions with guys like Nathan Ovaldi on the way to throw the ball to the plate, talking to Joe Davis. Even that didn't get in the way. Good defense early in the game by the American League outfielders, Wright, Garcia and Wright, and of course out and left, the Cuban Rocket. So that was fun too, and obviously some drama. The home run by Diaz in the top of the 8th, the good at bat in the bottom of the 9th with Rodriguez to Kimbrel. So the game itself had some drama to it, and I used to like it when they put a little something on the game, like home field advantage. They got off that, which I don't like, but okay. But I do like the fact that this game itself had a little drama to it, and it was a very good weekend for baseball. They had a very good draft. I saw some of that on Sunday. I like the way they set it up with the football stadium, and of course Rob coming around the side, sort of like what Goodell does. They've all copied the NFL with the draft. They've done an excellent job there. The Futures game had a little life to it too. The Derby, now I think the Derby's way too long, and I think you can make a case that the aggregate home run total is better than just making it round per round. I mean, Rodriguez hit 41 home runs, and he loses. I mean, maybe that should count for his total. Sort of like Josh Hamilton at Yankee Stadium that one year in 2008. He turned everybody into it, and everybody loved it, and he didn't win the event. Same thing a little bit like Rodriguez. So maybe that home run derby is a little long for my liking. I can't sit there for 2 hours and 45 minutes watching guys hitting slow pitch softballs out of the ballpark, but I know it provides some juice and ESPN. I get all that, but I mean, maybe the aggregate total, and to me, it's still a little too long. That's just me. But again, who cares what I think? Because the All-Star game is really about the city that the game is in, because the city in which the All-Star game that year is in gets totally into it. I saw it 2 years ago in Coors Field. I've been in a million All-Star games. Going back to 1993 in Baltimore in Camden Yards when Juan Gonzalez won the Derby over Griffey, and I had Bobby Cox on radio when the Giants embraced in that great pennant race. So I have been in a million of these All-Star games and home run derbies. I was in Pittsburgh in 94 when Mickey Mantle came up to the radio booth and did 25 minutes with my old partner and myself because he was in the celebrity game. So I've been in a million of these All-Star games, and I think the city that gets into it loves it, and I think you saw that from a Seattle perspective, even if the chance with, we want Ohtani. I think that came across well. And I would put Seattle in that discussion. I know people don't want me to say this, but I don't care. I don't think he's going back to the Angels. I don't think the Angels are going to trade him. And, Ohtani was a big backdrop all weekend in Seattle. And I still think Dodgers, Giants, and Mariners are the 3 teams that he could go to as far as next year is concerned. And Seattle welcomed him. So I like that, too. And I think overall, the All-Star week, it was a very, very good week. Very good press conference by the commissioner. It's by far the best All-Star game. It's much better than the NBA. It's much better than the NHL. And the NFL is off the All-Star game festivities. 2 notes that were interesting, and I'll go to one right now. I don't like the uniforms, okay? I understand it's a marketing scenario. They're trying to make sure they can sell them in team stores. But I did a radio show yesterday, and every call said the same thing. Let the players wear their team uniforms. Look at Colorado. The guy hits the home run. He's the All-Star MVP, and he's wearing a National League black-on-blue uniform. I mean, really? Let him wear his Rocky uniform. I mean, I understand it's about money. I get it. Marketing, I get it. But, I mean, geez, let them wear the uniforms of the teams. I mean, the uniform, and nobody likes it. And I know it's the 3rd year. I'm a little late to the point. Nobody likes it. I know it's a little pet peeve, but I don't like the uniforms. I did find it interesting that the Oakland mayor went to Seattle this week to meet Rob in person about the A's. Now, to me, it's a little too late, and they have done a bad job, the city of Oakland, because the Raiders left, the Warriors left. They did not get them a stadium. They're not helping that process for a long period of time. But I give the mayor credit, and I give Rob credit for taking the meeting the last couple of days in Oakland, in Seattle, when the mayor went up there to the Pacific Northwest. Overall, though, it was a good weekend for baseball. I was surprised. More people went into the game than I thought. I'd be a little worried about Kimball and Batista. Batista's got a little Benitez in him. When that splitter doesn't split, it's a home run. I'd be a little worried about him for the Orioles in a big spot. Thompson wanted to let Kimball be his closer in the regular season, so he's going to closer in his game. He walked two guys. He always makes you nervous. So I thought that was interesting. I was thinking about the two closers, and that concerns me a little bit as far as postseason play is concerned for the Phillies and the Orioles, if they are both fortunate to get there. Listen, I don't care what the Player Association says. Do not change the pitch clock for the postseason. They don't change the NBA shot clock for postseason. 24 seconds, let's make it 27 seconds. They don't change the NFL play clock in the postseason. It's 35 seconds regular season. Let's add 4 or 5 seconds to it so everybody's a little bit more centered and we have no stupid penalties for delay a game. Do not change the pitch clock. The pitch clock has been tremendous. Everybody loves it. I don't need to add 3-4 seconds in October. It confuses everybody, and the umpires included. I know some of the pitchers don't like it. I don't care. Leave the pitch clock alone. I'm sure they will. I know Manfred's going to take the meeting. Don't change it. Leave it the way it is. So, big picture, a great week. They did a good job. Get rid of the uniforms. I mean, good job with the mayor of Oakland. I don't think it's going to make any difference, but, all right, they still want their team. I thought that was relatively interesting. And leave the pitch clock alone. A little worried about Kimball and Batista. I mean, and the ninth, and this particular game showed you a little something. Kimball was nervous, walked two, tying run on second base, and Batista gives up the home run. Please change the uniforms. That's where we begin.